Hello out there, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to Political Platform. You can join us, as we always say on this program, through three major platforms of DA: Repower FM, Africa Independent Television AIT, and the Political Platform YouTube channel. I am Okiri Agbonsuremi, always glad to have you on the program, and today we have a bumper package for you. Analysis of all the events that took place during the weekend, the selection of candidates, particularly for the presidential contest ahead of time, as well as the rubbles, the kind of dust that have not settled from the previous candidate selection in the primaries of the political parties. Members of almost all the major political parties in Nigeria have now selected their presidential candidates ahead of the 2027 elections. It remains to be seen whether former President Goodluck Jonathan will accept or decline the endorsement from the Saminu Turaki-led faction of the party. If a Minister of Aviation was up in his social media at the weekend asking the former president to reject and denounce so that they do not drag him into unnecessary damage of his beautiful image. It depends on who he's talking. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and maybe the courts will need to review the lists and determine which of the factional candidates of some of the political parties will appear on the ballot. The parties with the factional candidates include the PDP, that has 3 now, SDP 2, and ADC. Is it 2 or 3? We have so many of them that will be determined either by the courts or by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Over the weekend, Peter Obi emerged as the candidate of the NDC and immediately announced that former Kano Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso will be his running mate. The Labour Party has also adopted Dr. Chibuzo Okereke as its presidential candidate. After 15 days, President Bola Tinubu finally dispatched a delegation led by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, to Oyo State. 46 students and teachers from the Esele and Yawota communities in the Orire local government of Oyo State have been in captivity since May 15, 2026. Many people are shouting foul and saying it was really, really late, but better late than never. The delegation included the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, the Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, and the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, as well as the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dari. The color of the politics shown. The political challenges surrounding this issue were highlighted when the delegation failed to meet with Governor Seyi Makinde, or maybe they met with him, but nobody saw him at the governor for your state, or officials of the states who have been actively working with the communities affected by the abductions. Seyi Makinde, you know, is not of the APC. Currently, is the presidential candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM. Our guest today is Honorable Fred Agbedi, a member of the House of Representatives who received the factional PDP nomination certificate on behalf of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Has he delivered it? He will tell us in the interview when he joins us. My colleague Ahia Uju, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ohiria. These kind of divisions are things that we don't need at this point in time. Many times we hear that the security agencies are polarized, and because of that, they're not able to achieve maximum results. Now, the fact that we did not see the special delegation meeting with the Oyo State government is not good. The Oyo State government has been working on this issue with some officials. I think that the first thing they should do, or they should have done, is meet with the governor, meet with his men, find out how much work has been done so far. And I would also like to believe that the Oyo State government did not do that work without the federal having an input, since security is at the center, you know, is controlled from the center. So I think that we should, whatever political leaning or the political decision should be set aside. The lives of those children, the lives of the teachers, the principal, all of them are more important than whatever other considerations or interests that we may be looking at.
Now, look at the flip side, Dr. Amicha Nakwe. Look at the flip side. The flip side is that when there's an issue, usually we see the governor rushing to Abuja, meet with the security, meet with the president and say, this is what, brief the president and say, this is what is happening in our state, and they begin to work together. We have not seen Makinde come to Abuja to do that. And secondly, during the weekend you watch the Makinde saying on TV that he is a toothless bulldog as far as security is concerned. He's a governor that doesn't have control over the IG, over any of the commanders. There's a deep division between them.
And when governors rush to Abuja to come and brief the president, I criticize it very heavily. It's the Abuja that should be coming to the scene of the incident to see for themselves, not verbal a description. Oh, no, you either go. I expected the president to have moved over to Oyo from Lagos when he went for the Eid and all that. But like you said, better late than never. And the 1,000, I've always said, if you can protect people, show empathy when they become victims. The 1,000 forest guard is a knee-jerk approach, if you ask me. I thought the government would have taking action on actualizing and implementing the state police system. The president had mounted it. The Senate has also been talking about it, but rhetoric. We are not seeing action. So any federally controlled security architecture will fail across the length and breadth of the country because security is local. So
let them not fail on this one. Let us
no, that's the reality. When you control them from Abuja, the federal government is incapable of policing Nigerian territory. There's a huge gap because of the absence of state police. So when you want to, it's not just in that bush part, you're bordering on Ekiti and Kwara. Across Nigeria, there are so many forest reserves that are not manned. That's ungoverned territories. Except you decentralize security, you can actually take control of this.
And Mustafa Mohammed, thank you for being with me on the program too. We have 1,126 reserves across Nigeria. Some of them are interlinked. If the forest in Oyo where this took place entered into Niger, entered into Kebbi, and where there are also links that the parts that are also got straight into the so-called the dreaded forest we are talking about that entered into the Niger and Chad.
From Sambisa, yes, you can enter Yankari in Bauchi.
So it is not. We have what we call forest rangers. My research showed that they probably have not recruited more than the 50,000 or so number in the last 10 years. People who are supposed to protect our the forests, particularly our animals, protect them from poaching, and also provide information for security, whatever thing that is going on in the forest. We are employing forest guards. I don't know how how we combine all these things.
It also boils down to intelligence, logistics, and motivation. You can employ 10 million forest guards, but so long as you don't give them the facility for logistics, intelligence, welfare, and motivation, there's very little they can do. These forests we are talking about, whether in the south or in the north, are interconnected. You're talking about going into Yankari through Dambua and Biu from Sambisa to Jigawa wetlands, to the dreaded forest in Niger and Katsina. And once in Niger,
enters the west.
It will enter the west. And once you are in the west, whether through Ondo to the Niger Delta or other places, you can easily access all these ungoverned spaces. There was some years back during the Bakassi crisis, I had the singular privilege of going to these parts of Nigeria on the border that were completely neglected. Governance was purely absent. When I was filing a few reports on the TV, a series that I did, because they didn't have water, electricity, schools, whatever they need, they had to cross into Cameroon. The House of Reps member that was representing that place then later, Tijani Banki Babagana, sent somebody 3 times begging that we should stop airing that series. And I did. So the concept of security is not about employing people, give them what it takes
What
to
they
get.
need to.
Number two, you see, this poverty that the government, especially the governors at the grassroots, are giving lip service to. You have to address poverty before you are able to conquer insecurity. Wherever there is hunger, there's crisis.
Oh, now the teacher, Ojo, I was going to...
in all of this.
Well, I don't... Amoteku, I think we heard them doing something, but what constitutional, what legal pathway did they have? How are they cooperating with the police? Are they properly set up? Were they received?
Yeah, I recall that the late governor of Ondo State, they had to pass everything.
In fact, it was the entire Southwest that came together to say, look, we need to protect our
even
area.
the state houses of assembly, I think they were properly.
Your question, Uju, goes to show that even if you create state police, funding could be a problem. Politics could be a problem. But the teachers, let us just also quickly talk about some of the reactions.
Yes.
People are desperate and almost helpless. Teachers in the national body of the NUT have said they are going to begin strike today.
Yes.
They are asking your teachers to begin strike today. We have individuals, pockets of individuals, I see on Facebook, trying to do GoFundMe. They want to raise money. They want to pay ransom. There's this frustration and helplessness that...
Yeah, that's what makes it, so painful. So you're looking at a situation, that ordinarily you should have solutions, but you look around you, nothing looks like a solution to you. And that is the irony of what we're facing in this country. We have so much potentials, so much going well for us, but harnessing them for the welfare, for the protection of the citizens is a problem. What stops us from adequately equipping the police, from adequately equipping the military? What stops us from adequately equipping Amoteku? I hear that about 100 of them have been killed so far. So maybe some others are drawing back.
To run away.
Exactly. And then people like Igboho and co, I wonder, at this point in time.
Now, Amechi, we must look at all the sides and look at how they affect the people. We have a situation where the teachers, they are saying they want to go on strike. We have fresh videos from these children. They are a terrorist group. What they want to do is to get the citizens to put pressure on the government so that they can get their money. You made it a very fantastic analysis the other time that Nigeria is a ransom field for them. They come here, they go to the maximum to collect as much money as possible. So fresh videos of the children being tortured, they are burning rubber. Jerry cans and putting plastic and dropping the hot this thing on the children, and they are crying. These are terrorists. So when you watch this, you want to react. So this is why we are seeing reaction. People are also sharing. When I get some of these videos, I find it difficult to watch because I'm a journalist. I want to see it. That's the spirit that makes me to want to watch it. Ordinarily, I should just delete it. But one thing I don't do is to share. I don't share them because sharing them means that you are also sharing terrorism. You are spreading fear. You are spreading all this trouble that is all over the place. So helplessness all over the place. Hopelessness.
So this is preventable. If you can't protect the people from being taken away from their homes, from the highways, from the schools, you have to go out of your way to secure their release. Because that's your failure in the first place.
Even if you have to pay...
whatever you have to do is your security is the primary purpose of government. And when you fail in security, you have failed. I always say security is like a student writing WAEC. You fail English and mathematics, if you like, have A's in the other subjects. No university in Nigeria will admit you. If any government has failed with security, that government has failed woefully. Akeredolu saw this and came in with Amoteku. He was the only one giving it that push in the Southwest. Others tagged along, but you saw the results he achieved because Ondo Forest, we are overtaken by kidnappers and all that. At some point, the federal authorities were at conflict. Don't use AK-47, use pump. Why wouldn't they kill them? They are only armed with pump action. The criminals are armed with, the terrorists are armed with automatic weapons. So, except we are running away from the solution. The idea is that, they will use state police for politics. It's the federal police, and not just federal police, is federal security institutions are under the control of the party in power.
Are they not using them for?
They are
for
politicized.
Did you see what happened at the weekend?
The ruling party politicizes federal security agencies. So why are you afraid that the states will politicize it? If you don't want to democratize that politicization, but the fact is that there are gains we can achieve, and we can deal with the politicization. There are mechanisms we can put in place to guarantee independence, not just for the state police, also for the federal security architecture, that instead of protecting the state, they end up protecting the government.
So Mustafa, when I saw that the president said they should employ 1,000, I was just laughing. What kind of approach is this? I mean, you carry Vaseline and you are rubbing it on top of when you should do a surgery, when you should have acted long ago, and they will just react. We are doing reactive
I
actions.
think this issue requires both kinetic and non-kinetic approach. You see, we live in a high-tech world. Look at this Abuja, for example, with all the wonderful things the Minister of FCT is doing in terms of infrastructure. When it comes to security, just look at the major bus stops in Abuja. Whether you are talking about Zuba, AYA, Area 1, Apo Roundabout, are there functional CCTV cameras? Comparing it to the capitals of Kenya, go to Mombasa. If you see a particular control center they have with cameras all over the city that they can deploy their personnel if there's anything within 5 minutes. This is Abuja, the nation's capital. What are the governors doing about the state capitals, the local government headquarters, schools in rural areas? All these are places that we can deploy technology.
But we do them. Yeah. We look for these temporary solutions after the incident. We employ people after it has happened. What prevented us from employing people and looking at the rangers, look at the forest rangers, look at the forest guards, look at all our forests?
You look at what happened to the Chibok girls or Dapchi girls. When these terrorists carry out their kidnappings, they don't keep those victims in one place.
Yes.
They share them among themselves and they take you to other locations. Unfortunately, some of these young girls will be raped, others will be forcefully married. The case of Leah is still fresh on our mind. But it all boils down to ungoverned spaces in the country. Remember, during Goodluck Jonathan, some of these terrorists and bandits have even taken part of Nigeria's territory. So if we cannot man the territorial integrity of this country, which is also the primary job of the Nigerian military. Of course, the military is overwhelmed too because they are also doing the job of the Nigerian police. What is the army doing, putting checkups? It's because the police can no longer do that.
All right.
Yeah, but because we're in a kind of a war situation, whether you like it or not.
Because if the war is out...
Exactly. Police can no longer contain what is going on right now.
All right. We are going to be taking a break, and when we come back, we'll go into the mainstream political analysis. All the events that took place at the weekend. We'll give you the numbers of the political parties that have their presidential candidate. Those ones we haven't given you before. We'll update it, particularly those ones that took place during this weekend. And then we'll have our guests coming. Please don't go away. You are onto Political Platform, and stay with us and get more when we come back.
For a bold new chapter in political discourse, the conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political Platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypa Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as Political Platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political Platform, now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
The stories now break online. Don't just miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content, follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT on air, online, online.
Political platform. Despite the late attempt to show empathy by the federal government, we just want to give you updates. The teachers, the National Union, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, directed all public and secondary schools in Oyo State to withdraw their services from school starting from today until further notice. Several individuals and groups have expressed their willingness to embark on a GoFundMe drive to help fund the release of the abducted teachers and students. A clear indication, like we said earlier, that there's frustration and attempt to mount pressure on government to act. Is it to pay ransom? Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission also told you, and maybe the courts must clean up the list of the factional candidates who from the PDP and who from the ADC or SDP will be on the ballot. We are not quite clear yet how they are likely to decide. Sometimes the people are asking the Independent National Commission to come up to presently with the list of those who they believe are the correct, have the correct leadership. But a party like the SDP, for instance, where you have the chairman of one, or in fact, the presidential candidate of one of the party, with recognized by INEC, but all the state chairmen of the party who are outside of that fashion are also with INEC. How would they solve the problem?
Confusion, gallop.
Seyi Makinde is the presidential candidate of the Allied People's Movement. The Rabiu Bala faction of the PDP has also ratified Chris Umba as its of ADC has ratified Chris Umba as presidential candidate of the party. The Labour Party adopted Dr. Chibuzo Okereke as its presidential candidate. The Action Alliance has Are Adekunle Rufai Omoaje as its presidential candidate. And we have the National Rescue Movement, NRM, picking a Nollywood actress Esther Okereke as its flag bearer. Zenith Labour Party has Dan Iwanyanwu. And we also told you earlier that former President Goodluck Jonathan has been told to take the flag of one of the factions of the PDP. Will he accept it? And like we told you earlier, we have a guest in the House who himself received the nomination on behalf of the president. Has he taken it to him? Honorable Fred Agbedi is a member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, sir.
Thank you very much, and good to be with you. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good to see you again after a long time.
Yeah, it's really long, and you are looking very good.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, have you seen the former presidency? You took that responsibility?
Yeah, of course. I'm in touch with former president.
In touch, or you have seen him to give him the nomination?
We are regularly together, but let me remind you that a directive was given to me. And the directive is to the extent that the party will accompany me in a ceremony to hand over, the certificate.
When would that be?
As soon as possible.
Now, was there a nomination form and expression of interest?
Of course. And
that Jonathan picked?
Of course.
And
that is why the party, the screening committee and the national working committee of the party gave him a waiver as a former president. you cannot qualify to run election when you don't pay nomination and expression of interest.
He paid.
When you pay, you'll be issued a form.
Yeah.
And the form will be completed and returned to the party. Otherwise, you are not a contestant.
No, we just want to get it clear.
And that is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
You know, that he did with the party. And sometimes when we tell Nigerians that, see, President Jonathan is a former president. He's not like any other person contesting, wanting to be president, and you just, walk into the foray and start doing all kinds of things.
Is he really serious about contesting?
The People's Democratic Party, knowing the caliber of candidate they are floating, is doing things differently. And that is why I keep saying the PDP will present their candidate, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to Nigeria. That is the process the party is doing. It's not about President Jonathan just holding microphone and telling the
You know why we're asking these questions as background before we begin to discuss the details?
Yeah.
The reason is that many people don't believe that the former president, is the one. It's like some people like you, like party members, are those ones doing this, that the former president himself, is not interested. You saw what Kayamo said, that look, you guys are forcing him. He should please run away from you guys because you want to destroy his image.
Yes.
That's why we're asking, did the president himself go pay, fill the form? If you said he did, then you are clearing the air that Nigerians should know.
I have said so time without number in different forums.
Okay.
And again, let me ask you, why are the Kayamus and others being worried? Why? It is a choice.
No, because
of a party.
the president did not come up.
No.
The former president did not come up.
Anything.
No, see, he's a member of APC. Most of the people who are talking, oh, don't bother yourself. You are a good man. Why do you want to trouble? Why are people deceiving you? Is this your party business?
There's something very fundamental.
And what is the fundamental thing?
The former president has written his name in the ink of gold.
Interesting.
He lost election.
Very correct.
He accepted, made a phone call.
Yes.
Telling that he has accepted the result.
Yes.
And he became an internationally recognized statesman.
Yes.
Now, coming back to contest again.
Yes.
Especially on a party that I refer to as walking on its heads now,
yes,
not legs.
Yes.
PDP with the mass exodus.
Yes.
I think he doesn't have any chances in PDP, whoever is pushing him to contest.
Yes.
What do you think?
Two things. One, a party makes an election and a party causes victory to happen. Sometimes a candidate brings about victory for a party. And so that is where we are. Now, take for example, when everybody keeps saying President Goodluck is a good man, very good man, very good man, Nigeria needs a good man to be our leader, not a bad person, not somebody who has failed the country.
Like who?
So the present government has failed, clearly.
You believe
so?
know,
let me give you an example. I was in Cape Town with my former governor and President Goodluck heading to Namibia, and the Chibok issue happened. Right at the airport, the president returned to Nigeria and to Chibok. Have you seen that in this government? Have you seen that? Instead of attending to critical issues, either that the president is traveling out of the country or they are doing one party or the other, dancing and doing all kinds of things. So Nigerians are not important.
But when the kind of bombing happens,
yes,
Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, was at a rally. Yes. And they didn't call it off. So what are you saying?
No, you are talking about a bombing that happened when a rally was going on, targeted at the rally. It was not as if it happened and then Jonathan went to the rally. The rally was going on. It was targeted at the rally. They missed their target, yet the government went after the people.
Two issues for me here. One, a lot of people, and I know you have encountered it, some commentators out there are alleging that Jonathan is only playing a spoiler's role. He wants to spoil some people's chances. That's one. The second one, you have Senator Sandy Honor, also of the other PDP. So it doesn't appear to be a united PDP.
Well, it is not only PDP.
Let's talk about PDP.
Yes, yes.
Leave the other
But
parties.
I just want to generalize it first of all, because you are raising the issue about PDP. So it's not peculiar to PDP. Most of the other parties, including the party in government. Now, take for example, you are aware of judgments of the appellate courts, both appeal and Supreme Court. The INEC that is supposed to obey those judgments are yet to obey it. And then you have also gotten to know about analysis to the extent that the Turaki-led PDP, as at today, is the valid PDP, going by the judgments. Because INEC has not implemented the judgments, does not go to mean that it will not come. It will crystallize, it will be realized. Now, what we are saying is that if Senator Sandy Ono or so is the presidential candidate of the Wike party, which is led by Anyanwu and others, who the court has held that you are suspended and you couldn't have played any functional role, official role on behalf of the People's Democratic Party. And then you also saw that the leader of that party did not sponsor any of his candidates in that platform. Rather, he took them to the ruling party. Will tell you that something is wrong somewhere with them. And so because they are parading themselves, as a faction of PDP, will not make the real PDP back off. And that's what we are doing. We are aware that in any system where there are tendencies to scuttle democracy, where there are tendencies to contrive the democratic space, the people have to be vigilant. As you see us, we are vigilant about the political
Okay, on the spoilers rule. On the spoilers rule.
Spoilers rule? Yeah, that's what the Sandy Ono or the...
No, the allegation that Jonathan is playing a spoilers rule.
Oh, as to spoilers rule, where is it? They have a right to express themselves the way they want. But who are the serious candidates outside Jonathan? If you want to count serious candidates, maybe there may be 2 or 3. So any candidate that is not serious, should join Jonathan in ensuring that we put this government out of office. That is what Nigeria needs now. As citizens, as patriotic citizens of this nation, that is what we need now. We need a Jonathan who has age on his side, who is alert, who has the experience, who has the capacity, who has even acquired more knowledge to be able to lead Nigeria and bring Nigeria back to where he left it.
Yes, when he first contested,
yes,
the waters were not as dirty and murky as it is now. Yeah. Do you think that the current political weather is clement enough for a Goodluck Jonathan to contest without tainting his reputation?
If the weather is not clement, then we have to arise with President Jonathan to change a weather that is being made murky. Because for democracy, if you go to sleep, the bad ones will overrun you. And that is why some of us are not going to sleep. That we will be vigilant in this space. We will bring the right candidate. We will support the right candidate. We will mobilize Nigerians. And Nigerians should arise to make sure they take back their country. Otherwise, we will have this country to rely on.
How do you intend to get the votes?
Who are the voters? Is it not you and I and others that are voting? Who will you be voting for? That's the question.
Let's talk about those things that make people to start to wait for the former president.
Yeah.
Now, and it also goes to the questions my colleagues have asked, whether he's serious about contesting. Even up to now, as we are talking, he has not even shown his face. Nobody has heard him say anything.
Apart from only said I'm consulting.
Yes. Apart from you now telling us that he confirming to us that he actually filled the form, he paid for the nomination, and he was given a waiver.
Yes.
The former president seemed to be standing. Do I jump? Do I not jump? Is he auspicious for me? Do I do? It doesn't look like somebody who is seriously wanting to contest an election.
Ohira, maybe you didn't get me right when I gave that explanation. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is a former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There is no other person of his status that is contesting the presidential election outside the sitting president. Okay? And so, as a party, PDP is doing things differently. It's not about Jonathan. holding the microphone and saying, I'm contesting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, the PDP is going through a process. The process
Which of
is
the
to-
PDP?
and you know that there's only one PDP. The PDP.
No, I disagree. There are factions.
The PDP that the appellant cause have recognized that is the valid PDP that was without a leader, and that the BOT sat together, nominated an interim working committee in which I am a member. I am the leader of the PDP caucus in the House of Representatives. So you should know that I know what I am doing. You should know that I have a voice as one of the leaders of the party. So what we are saying is that the PDP is going to do something different. And that is what we are doing. We are cooking the soup to the extent that when we present Jonathan under our platform to Nigerians as a big bang, it will change the entire.
Now, I want you to answer this question.
Yes.
One of the major reasons why former President Goodluck Jonathan lost his last election while in office was his inability or failure to address the security challenges. Do you think Nigerians can trust him?
No, let me tell you, it was not because he couldn't deal with the security issues. It is because he is a Democrat. He opened the political space. He allowed people to participate. He allowed Nigerians to make their choice. And so Nigerians made a choice outside him. And he honored their choice. Okay, now, if you say that it's insecurity, has the situation improved? The situation has worsened. As at Jonathan's time, it took him 2 or 3 weeks, to clear Borno State.
With people just in captivity?
For elections to hold. Because it got to a point where elections was not to hold in a number of local governments within that state. And Jonathan now said the elections be postponed for about 3 weeks, and within which people now had access to the ballot box. That is what is important. Democracy means that the people must decide their leader. They must have the right to vote. And so he allowed them to vote. Now you see the political space being terrorized.
That's why
for example, you saw us last Saturday when the police came pursuing us. Thugs came pursuing us for the right of a political party to hold their program and programs.
That's why some people are asking, if Jonathan failed to win the election as the sitting president, how can he win being the opposition against a man, they say, understands the terrain very well, knows how to use state apparatus?
Opposition parties have always won election. That was why the APC won. And in other nations across the world, opposition parties have won election. You see, the good thing about democracy is over time, they know who is good for them and they know who is bad for them. If APC had not come on board, people wouldn't have known that the party has nothing to offer. Today, Nigerians have come to realize that the 8 now running to 12 years of democracy of the APC, did not help this country. Rather, things are worsening. And so what is change is the most permanent thing in life. And so today, they have identified that Jonathan was a better president than any other person. And so we can go back. We can apologize to him. We can say sorry to him. We can make restitution. And by doing restriction, he's bringing him back to power.
Does he still have the same steam?
That is going to happen in 2027.
Does he still have the same steam?
Of course, that is the truth of the matter.
Does he still have the same steam?
What is his team? His team is about the candidate, and his team is about the party. Okay? Once Nigerians believe that this man should come back, once they believe that the PDP government was better than APC government, of course.
Can you help us? Because you are not just a member of the party. You lead a very chunk of the House of Representatives,
yes.
And you could stand up to say, look, I am representing the party here. I can pick up. He has spoken with us. I have spoken with him, and we know that he is going to contest. Now, where is Jonathan, our former president? Where is his block votes? Where is he going to look at? I'm looking at all the presidential candidates. I'm looking at the other political parties. I'm even looking at the PDP itself that is factionalized. Where is the president hoping to, like my colleagues ask, get the vote from Nigerians?
Okay, if you have traveled to the north, there's a tea that these Hausa people.
Meshai.
Okay, whatever they call it. there's a comparison between Jonathan's tea and Buhari's tea and T-Pain's tea. You understand? So Nigerians want to drink the Jonathan tea if you go to the north. If you go to the south, you know that we have 4 years, that we haven't ruled Nigeria. So it is an opportunity for the south to bounce back on their 4 years. You know that the southeast has issues of being 4 years in office, or no, one time I will not do a second term. The southeasterners will want to do their 8 years. And so if there's an opportunity for someone to do his 4 years, and then an opportunity will eventually come for them to do their 8 years, of course they are going to support that candidate. That is what it is. The only place you now say that, is Jonathan sure of bulk votes and all that is the southwest. Meanwhile, if Governor Makinde is contesting against President Tinubu, they will split their southwest votes. So we are going to go. So I can tell you that the only person who can win the 2027 election is President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and the People's Democratic Party.
I can see the politics you have just raised in it. If you talk, let us be very frank about it. If you talk about Peter Obi, if he wins the presidential election, the Constitution allows him 8 years.
Yes.
If Makinde wins, the Constitution allows him 8 years. The only two persons, maybe now that will be on the ballot, that you say they have 4, is the current president and President Jonathan.
Yes.
Now, what you are saying is that the North would rather deal with what they know.
Yes.
That, look, this man will do 4 years and go. We do not trust if Peter Obi will change his mind along the line.
Well, I don't want to be as deep as that. But what I'm telling you is that they will be more comfortable with a 4 years, so that they can also ride on.
Which of the North are you talking about? Is it the Northeast that suffered insecurity gravely, or you are talking about the North?
But they are still suffering that insecurity.
There's no Central North now.
No,
the Central North died with Sardauna and Tafawa Balewa. So which one are you talking about?
Beautiful. The North is still a North. Let me tell you, when you talk about insecurity, the insecurity has even spread from the North to the South. So who is safe? Will you want to continue to leave your country in the hands of those that can't protect you? And like one of you said, what are the principal mandates of a government? The people's security and welfare.
Nigerians,
we have lost welfare. We have lost security.
Nigerians are wondering, who are those beating this drum for Jonathan?
You don't need to
interest.
You don't need.
You understand what I mean?
No.
Some cabal out there urging him
There's
on.
the current administration.
Go.
There's the current administration involved.
Amechi, you don't need to beat a drum for President Jonathan. What you need to do as a party and as Nigerians is to look at who is better. Wherever the person is, go and bring him to take leadership so that your country can be better. Once you fail to do that, you will continue to suffer. Don't shut your voice. Speak out and go for what is right for your country so that you can salvage your country.
Let me quickly also ask this.
Yes.
There's no doubt that you have heard about it, that former President Goodluck Jonathan may be helping the current government, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu or the APC, want to help split the party so that they can. That's the allegation. My colleague already said that.
No, but
wait, sir. Let me learn. Yeah. Now, is it not obvious to you and to everybody around this former president that the candidature of Atiku in the North is going to benefit from the fractionalization of so many candidates that are coming up from the North? Is this a concern for you?
Let me refer you to 2023. In 2023, Atiku ran, Obi ran. Obi was in PDP. Certain characters chased Obi out of the PDP. And Obi went and took Labour Party. How many months did it take Obi to get the over 7 million votes that he got? How many votes did PDP get? Haven't split her house. So what are we talking about? Today, what Nigerians know and what we want that happen is for the South to take their 4 years. And then power returns to the North. So it's not about Atiku being on the ballot and thinks that he's going to split it. If it were possible, he could have split it even in 2023 and won the election. He didn't win. But let me tell you, Jonathan is not working with the government in power. Jonathan is contesting the election to win under the PDP. And the PDP is the largest party, the most enduring party in the democracy. The PDP is known in all nooks and crannies in this nation. And it is when you contest election in such a platform that is known in all nooks and crannies that you can more easily mobilize the voters to win election. And so Jonathan knows what to do. The PDP knows what to do. We are putting the party in a pedestal that we have the right candidate. Nigerians will buy into. That's what we are doing. So we are not coming to play any spoilers role. What the politicians need to do, if they have the interests of Nigeria at heart, is to now rally around all of us who begin to say, I'm presidential candidate in this platform, I'm presidential candidate in that platform, should rally around President Jonathan and the People's Democratic Party to take this government that has failed completely in all ramifications out of power, so that we'll be able to re-energize, recreate our country and have a better living condition. That is what we are.
All right, we have to go with it now because we have a lot of other things to still do. We go to our mails and we'll not be able to continue with it. But we hope that the day that the president, the former president, gets the team, you going with the other party leaders to present it to him. After that, we'll be able to come back.
You will hear him on that day.
I want to thank you.
That ceremony will be huge.
Thank you for joining us on the program.
Okay.
And let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we will take our mails and then we'll wrap up the show for today. Please don't go away. You are on to Political Platform.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, online.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political Platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypower Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as Political Platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political Platform, now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Just a quick correction here. I think with the pictures that we show was
Chris Oba as one of the three presidential candidates in
that was
ADC.
Yes, please. It is in these days of newspaper reports, and we will have a lot of information coming on. Sometimes we have to be careful not to mix up Mba from Uba or however it is pronounced and the pictures that are pronounced. So it's not Chris Uba that we...
The Anambra politician.
It's not him. We need to quickly just correct that and take it away. We don't want people to flock to his house to be with the bags of money to say you are not the presidential candidate. Please give us money to campaign for you. That's the correction. But let's go to our mailbox to take your mail citizens' perspective so that we see who is talking to us and what you are telling us. Uju?
First one is from Mekamba here in Abuja, and it says, terrorists stormed free schools in Oyo State and abducted several school pupils, including 2 years and 3-year-old babies. Teachers, including a nursing mother and her baby and a principal. More school children were also abducted from Borno State. There are viral gory videos and pictures of all manner of dehumanizing torture of these children, including melting hot plastic materials, dropping on their bare backs, and one of the teachers being beheaded. And our leaders were celebrating Children's Day, same time with pomp and pageantry, promising the children heaven on earth, and organizing their party primaries across the country. This President Tinubu-led government must wake up to its responsibilities to secure lives and property of Nigerians, or do what they, as opposition then, advised the then President Goodluck Jonathan, resign. And next, Emmanuel Nkama from Gowon Estate, Alimosho, Lagos, says, President Tinubu approved 1,000 forest guards and special tactical team to rescue various state school pupils kidnapped by armed bandits, and it is commendable. However, it's highly regrettable that this is coming after 15 days of the ugly incident. This is because proactive and not reactive actions should have been taken before or immediately after the kidnap occurred. Delay in taking a decisive action against these enemies of our country enables them to continue to go deeper into the forest with their victims. Here's appealing to President Tinubu, the military, and all stakeholders to ensure that the Oyo and Borno State school pupils, including 2 to 4-year-old kids, still in the wide weather of their kidnappers' den, are safely rescued. Where are the USA military in Nigeria?
And for want of time, we may not be able to take in full. The mail from Amechi Obochi from Kubwa in Abuja, he also wrote on the abduction of school children and teachers in Oyo State. And he says the president will do everything within, should do everything to secure their release. Same with Anethio Kintia from Sango, Ogun State. He's asked, however, saying the NUT was right in calling for total strike rather than resorting to prayers. And Nigerians are indeed asking the president, it's not just in Oyo that students were abducted. In Borno State, Askira Oba, and some other places, students are also in captivity. Do a lot also to get them freed. And
Leah Sharibu, nothing's been heard of her for how many years?
Unfortunately.
Now?
Well, that's how we are going to be wrapping the program up this morning. Keep your mails coming to us through our Citizens Perspective political platform at darkgroup.com is the route to reach us. When we come back tomorrow on the program, we sure have more for you, analysis, reports, and then we also take your mails. My name is Okiri Agbonsoremi. On behalf of my colleagues here, please do have a beautiful week ahead and a beautiful day today.